Hello, Wild Wisdom Warriors. Hello, YouTube. Hello, my dear friends from around the world. All the shamans, thank you so much for joining me. This is Lily Kolosova, and this is my journal. Today is April 13th, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. So, gonna be some weird subjects, you guys, coming up. So anyway, today I'm gonna be drinking my, of course, again, my virgin mimosa. So here's my fresh orange, a little bit squeezed fresh orange. And then today I'm drinking some tonic water. And you guys, for those of you, I'd recommend it for you guys to watch Dr. Shiva's recommendation on what to do right now to keep your immune system stable. Okay, so that stability right now is very important because we are under attack. So you guys try help your body to, and so I'm doing this. So this is tonic water, and you know why is that it's quinites or whatever the thing is in tonic water that helps our bodies and our immune systems to do things and be in, in sort of in that alignment with your being, so nothing is interfering or infiltrating you from within. And so this is basically so here we go, my virgin mimosa. Anyway, I guess I'll go for a big one. All right, you guys. Hello, everybody. Amy, Reina, Teresa, Deanne, hi. Danielle, hello, darlings. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. So anyway, I'm going to have my healthy tonic water mimosa today, keeping it healthy. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to talk about this infiltration, what it is. And I know that it's kind of a difficult subject that I'm going to attempt to cover today. But I think with you guys here, Christina, hi. With you guys here, maybe we can sort of find a way to talk about this. I want to talk about with the more we have clarity on stuff and the more we can see, then the reason I want to talk about this in public is because we're experiencing the changes on the collective level in how we, and like I said, once we go through our individual path on an individual level, then we recognize this connection or realize the connection that we have to this reality and to the totality of human consciousness. And this is then we talk about the mystery school sort of material to where you attain that gnosis from within. Then from that, so then from that time on, when you have that recognition, then you have the tools then to apply your own gnosis to the totality or the to collective. And this is basically how the evolution of human consciousness is unfolding. And so this is basically what I'm reporting on, here is because of what I'm feeling and what I feel like I can present here for you that will be helpful for you to kind of, to recognize this. And then so at the same time, you recognize how your own tools that you develop apply in the future reality and how we can change future. And so we are here, I think, and this is why it's to talk through this. So then we have the ability um, to align our conscious minds to our individual experience, and now look at from that perspective, from that inner perspective. And this is what the time is, when this is such a beautiful time, because this is the time, it's like a rebirth process for individual, and then the recognition of this sort of life force within. And so this is the return of joy, the return to original. And so all of that been prophesied by so many generation after generation after generation. And like I said, we are here, each and every one of us here, the shamans from around the world. It doesn't matter where we are one human family. To me, that's the way I look at humanity. There is no other separation. We're one human family. And we are divine human beings. But yet today, I want to talk about the betrayal and the game that's been played on human consciousness. Because it's been years I've been talking about that my main reason for doing my shamanic journeys and for doing this, whatever it is that I'm doing, I don't know what to call it, really. Whatever it is, it has always been about investigating the crimes that's committed against this divine human consciousness, and the interference that took place here for many, many, many cycles. And there's many, many cycles that have been created, not just interference, but there are cycles that have been created that are completely artificial. And this is what many people talk about, the artificial timeline. And this is what truly is ending right now. And for us to be able to end the infiltration on a collective level, so then this is what many talk about, the liberation of human consciousness. And this is ultimately was my goal, is to liberate human consciousness, right? Once you come to liberate yourself, once you come to a point in your own journey to where you liberate your soul, then, like I said, maybe last journal, then this is the time when you know, without returning the freedom to the totality of human consciousness, you can get out of this reality. And so that recognition, what makes it humbles you then to do your work for the totality. And this is when you do it for your own reasons. And this is what some, and maybe why I want to start with this is explaining my reasons, because I know that there's quite a few people watching my journals. There's more than just, those of you guys that interact here. There's other people that are watching, and they kind of maybe having a little bit of a problem understanding what point view do I represent, and what side I am on. And a lot of people have tried to put me, so they're a little confused, and they say, so Lily, what side are you on? And I say, I trust no one, and I take no one's side. I'm always me. I'm Lily. I mean, in my eternity, I'm an eternal being. This is my experience. So that's the way I see it. But this is where, and this is why I wanted to talk about that, to give you that perspective, because many people that have not chosen to the path of eternity. And this is what I said in my graph, the 2017 was the year of the mark year for that, for the choice. So there's people that will choose their original path, which is they will go with their ancestors, meaning they will drop into their soul reality, into their inner planes and creator beings. And then there is those that are on transhuman agenda, as I talked about, and those are the people that are working for that agenda. And that's timeline, and this is what's ending. And the transhuman timeline is ending. And so the people that have chose that timeline, they're going to go space dust with it. Okay. And that's just what it is. And this is where comes your infiltration. And this is how, but that timeline, the reason why now, and I've talked about this genetic experiments and all of that, because we have an infection in the collective human consciousness, and that's the God program. Hey, Barefoot. Hi, JP. Hi, Darcy. Hi, Savannah. Hi, Lynn. Thank you for joining. So basically, what I want to talk about, and then I say, okay, you will see this, and so it might be a little bit difficult to see this kind of structure, how it operates. And so that's why I did a lot of visual sort of doodles in my previous videos, just so I can, get this point across from where I'm looking from. I'm looking from this perspective. I've been saying for years, so back to that I am an investigator. So I investigate the crimes. I look where where my intuition takes me, where my spirit takes me. I trust my higher self. And so in a way, the way I do these journals, right? The way I do these journals, oh shit. Sorry. This thing is the way I do these journals is the same way. It's like all real life. So but at the same time, I had a lot of experience investigating. What am I investigating? I'm investigating the crimes against human consciousness, right? And so how do I do that? And so and then my conscious mind can see it here and put together sort of a picture of how the infiltration operates, because we're at war. We're in spiritual war. It's a complex war. And like I said, the victim cannot withstand this war because the victim is just a distraction. So you have to be really strong on an individual level to know what you're doing, right? So but the infiltration and how it operates, because there's an organic unfoldment that I talk about, and the return, which is an organic timeline, the return to that organic unfoldment of evolution of human consciousness. And then here comes what we have, the infiltration happens. Why? Because we have an infection, a spiritual infection, the God program. And then we have the subhumans. And these are the people that, for the most part, and they're the ones that are genetically modified, you may want to say. And I've talked about this, about the nanostrand. Not nanostrand, the technological third strand of people that have the third strand technological. This is the degraded sort of people. They don't have the ability or capability. And for those of you that know, I don't know, I'm gonna post in Wild Wisdom Warriors. There is actually an experiment that they did on how the actual real living third strand DNA operates. It operates, actually, it just goes everywhere. It's in timeless space. So the way it manifests, it's like they can't even trace it. So you can't even show how the third DNA operates, the true one. But the technological one is that it's just that it's a piggybacking on the two strands, and that's all it is. And that's what makes them, as I call it, Bethel, because it's literally there's just cut off from living intelligence. So they can't, that individual is incapable to create thoughts. Someone who can't think for themselves. Everything has to be downloaded. Okay, so and those are the people that are abused the most and all of that stuff. And because they completely, like I said, they completely, if it's a human being, can't have an empathy. So they have to get rid of all the empathy. And so this is why all the abuse has to take place during the MK Ultra program. But let's go back and you guys do, well, what do you want? So does that, did I kind of explain where I'm kind of looking from and why I'm talking about this subjects? The reason why I'm talking about this subjects, and for those of you guys that have been following my journals for however long, it's been months and months, right? So you can see there's some certain things that I would talk about, and then a few months later or a few weeks later or whatever, things come up in the news and things like that. So this is what I say. It's like, when I want to do these journals, I want to I tune in. And so when I go in the morning and it's a journal day and I go on my morning walk, then this is how what am I going to talk about today? And so I feel like, and then in my morning walk, I can, and whatever, and then I can just go from there, or it will come later. You know what I mean? So it's just like I trust my eternal self that whatever I feel at the moment right now, that, and I really, when this morning I was like, oh my God, how do I start talking about I've introduced you guys to my kind of term that who do I call fear factory workers. And those are the infiltrators and all of that stuff. And then I've mentioned that I've been watching, all of their sort of ways and tools and what they do, how they do it, how they operate, and all of that stuff, and how they work the master slave in humanity. How do they pull, the triggers, and how they do that, and all of that stuff. It's almost like, like I said, when I talk about that, I wanted to kind of show you guys how the trick is done. And so this is what so I said, okay, so I'm gonna go from there, since I introduced that about the fear factory workers and how you can see them right now. And then I wanted to go deeper and say, let's look into this deeper agenda about how do this infiltration works, because many of you had followed a lot of people in truth movement and made you promises and told you that ascension was coming, or that the aliens were coming, or whatever, whatever the promises were, and all of that stuff, right? And so if you want to take a look at that and see like how it goes deeper than just, and many people, and especially right now, I already see that there is this betrayal card that's being thrown around right now, or rats are turning on each other. And so I do want to talk about the betrayal card, and when can it be played, and who's playing it, and why they playing it. And that's why I said this is a game to them. Because for those of you, I said this is a narcissistic style. This is a narcissist nature. This is a predatory consciousness. It doesn't work like a human consciousness. And those that are infected with this predatory consciousness is those are the ones that I say that they're operating on the anti-life. This is the vampiric nature of the predator. This is a predatory consciousness where so if you were to say, because like I say, it's a war, right? It's a spiritual war. So we're here, it's a predatory consciousness on a human mind. Okay. And then here's divine human being. And this is who the war is. Where what so here we, God program against the creator, divine human being, the Christ consciousness, if you want to be biblical. So the betrayal card is a very interesting one, because right now I see it thrown quite a bit, and because I'm an investigator and I'm kind of following those things where they lead. So when let's say when my enemy, because I am at war with this enemy, um oh, I am. You guys have no, oh my gosh, there is the war is huge. Savannah, you were asking about Lisa Transcendence Brown. Any feelings about, she confuses me, and you have a question about her. If she's see, okay, so this is what's going to happen a lot, and I've seen that. I kind of seen it, that it's going to come, the stage of dazed and confused, right? Well, a lot of those people are confused themselves, right? Because that's their program is meant to have them that way, because they're just the tools that adapted to a specific purpose. Because like I've talked about, a master and slave relationship, victim victimizer, and so that's all they can loop through, victim victimizer. Their success of the victim that they will present to you, right? A success or an ascension or something better than where you are now. So this is a master slave offers a slave something better, because this is a vampiric structure. And so a vampire offers help, but they can only help in their own predatory nature. And so we're talking about predatory nature. And so, and this is what you guys, and many of you here, and you know that. And so again, I'm going to talk about how, and I've named a few of those fear factory workers, or just kind of said, look, you guys, they're just trained like dogs. I'm sorry to say this, but many of them are trained like dogs to be the slave masters. They're only capable of projecting that programming, that God program. And so this is when steps in the betrayal card. And this is when they have to play it. And this is in infiltrators, because it's part of the game. They always hold the betrayal card. And so And this is something that goes deeper to understand how this controlled opposition or infiltration from within anything happens. And so I'm going to draw back to my own personal experience. I think it was 2015, maybe 2016, beginning of 2016. I had a group for, I don't know, 2 years by then or 3 years by then. It's called Earth Soul Group on Facebook. And for those of you that were in that group or maybe remember me from that group and stuck around, and it was, I don't remember, but it was right before it ended, before I closed up that group. I started to that subject of betrayal started coming up, and ultimately, betrayal was the buzzword that ultimately everybody in the group said, well, this is why it got closed. But right before that, I had a talk, and we used to do this group conversations in Earth Soul Group, to where we would have Zoom, and many people could come in, and we would have sort of talks, right? And I had a few admins in that group and all of that stuff, but I still was doing my I'm always an investigator. So anyway, but I had a few admins and all of that stuff, and this is when the betrayal thing came in, and many people said, well, Lily, we understand why you closed the group is because your admins betrayed you. And so, and I really never gone into that subject because ultimately, and that was said many times, I've said it in Earth Soul Group before that betrayal ultimately, as a card, can never be played on a warrior. And betrayal card can only be played in the victim-victimizer game. Because ultimately, if you play a betrayal card, you're betraying no one but yourself. And that was something that was driving forth in that group, in the Earth Soul Group. And it ended there. It ended on betrayal, because many of those admins did, in fact, betray themselves. But I knew of that. I knew of their betrayal the moment I knew the reason they were there, friendly with me. They were only friendly because they were getting paid to be friendly with me, or they were being milked for something or used for something. And when they used me, they thought they used me. They didn't. They didn't betray me. And so this is the thing I want to talk about. There's going to be a lot of talk that I feel that's going to come up in Truth Movement, in all these communities. We're kind of, this is becoming with this social media and this, this way of communicating. It's becoming really everything's coming to the surface. So that there is going to be a lot of talk about betrayal and who betrayed who. And so I want to say, ultimately, how do you know the infiltrators, the true infiltrators, is not the one who's been betrayed or the ones who even betraying. It's the ones who keep you stuck at who betrayed who. Those are the true infiltrators. Those are the ones that want to catch you in that fight. amongst each other, right? And this is what ultimately, that's the only tool they use. And so this is why I ultimately closed the group, because my own admins want everybody fighting in the group. And when people in the group started fighting, I said, well, this is not the reason I have this group for. Not for my admins to do that. And that's why nobody was like, oh, what do you mean you close the group? You ain't gonna do that to me. And this is why, and I said, you all betrayed yourselves. That was the last time I ever sort of, had any contact with any of those admins that were there. So it's just, so see, the thing is, but I wasn't betrayed. In a way, they betrayed a lot of people, but a lot of other people. I had another group, Wild Wisdom Warriors, is still here today. And here I'm still doing my Wild Wisdom Warriors reports. So, it's just the perspective. So now back to the infiltrators. So for you guys, you'll start see that on those collective levels in those groups. You will see a lot of betrayal card played, and the victimizer will always involve themselves. That meaning they're playing in that game. They're stuck in the transhuman God program, and they're just being, played. Basically, and that's what happens. And I see also a lot of rearrangements happening because the infiltration is becoming so much more visible, to where it's kind of obvious. Very lately, I've been talking about David Wilcock, right? And being the gatekeeper, right? And so, and what do you know? And I said, rats will start turn on each other. It's the nature of that reality. It's the nature, it's the rules of that hierarchy. That's all they know. That's all they know. And so what's happening right now, you'll see a lot of gatekeepers using the betrayal card to move and rearrange the slaves into different programs and all of that stuff. And so here comes your fear factory workers that will scream, oh, be afraid, be afraid, be very, very afraid of this. And everybody's coming, and being a victim and running to them for information on all of that stuff. And so what happens with David Wilcock, right? A betrayal card's just been played. It's been played by his protege, Jordan Sather. So Jordan Sather turned on David Wilcock now. So he betrayed him now. And this is how many people, and I see many people now, are talking about that betrayal. So now that infiltrators will do that. That's gonna play to the hand of the infiltrators. Okay, so this, you have to understand that infiltration, it works for them, and to keep that, because they're not cue decoders, they're drama queens. They're drama cues. Okay, they just call themselves QD coders, but they're there to create drama for this very specific reason, because this is how you create drama. You throw a betrayal card, and then you keep everybody caught up in that drama, in that betrayal. And everybody wanted to, and just like, you guys, since I give you an example of the group that I used to have and what happened to it, just like the same way on that time, many of those people were trying to get hold of me after that and say, how could you do this? We've been here for years supporting you, and and all that drama. They've pinned everybody up. In here was supposed to be drama, right? And to create all this distraction. And why was it? Because I kept saying, I am not going to be supporting victims here. You can take your victimhood somewhere else. I don't need it. And so MK Ultra, absolutely barefoot. That's the MK Ultra. And so they're the infiltrators. They're raised and bred for this very specific reason. And so they do exactly, oh my God, it's like so per book. So they do this. So it's just like, it's easy to see. So now there's more drama. And so they're there to create, because when you look at their decodes, right, they don't decoding anything. They just parrot other people's stuff. And they just, whatever's popular or whatever idea is popular, they just adopt it as their own, because that's what infiltrators do. And so they've adapted as their own. That's because they infiltrated from within. They steal it from you, and then they turn around, and then they discredit or get rid of the, it's the competition structure. So you step on the guy that's old now, like David Volkock is being screaming aliens for years, and many people are not believing him. So here was the next guy. Here comes the next alien guy, Jordan Setter, right? They were prepping him for that role. But now, just like in the predators in their and their sort of tribe or their pack works also. They have pack leaders and all of that stuff. It's a hierarchical structure. So they have these rules, right? So that the younger now has to exterminate the previous one. So how do they build? They can't build anything on his own. How can Jordan Setter build on his own? Because he's not building on the individual power or the individual knowledge that he attained. What he has is a bunch of stuff that got programmed in one form or another, downloaded it, whatever, through training or through whatever, abuse or whatever. But now he acted exactly as the predatory hierarchical structure would act. Eliminate the old, the one that's falling already, that's dragging the whole thing down. Wilcox, too obvious. He needs to be X'd out, cut off, so the new guy then takes over that platform. And this is what the thing, infiltrators always stand on somebody else's platform. This is what I say. They always have whistleblowers and all of that stuff. Very predictable, Jose. Hello, and thank you for joining. Yes, absolutely, very predictable. So you guys, it's not news to you, but you will see this betrayal card played. And then what happens is the people that are individually weak or weaklings. Like I said, those people I used to call, Earth Soul Group. I used to call people Earthlings, and then I said, well, some are Earthlings and some are weaklings. So they're weaklings. Okay, they can't stand on their own, right? When you take, let's say, somebody like that, like Sather, you take all of that stuff that he learned, or take his ability to parrot other people information, and it's a vegetable. So this is the looping sort of process, but it's just same information is looping now through a whole different person. And the trick is, infiltrators, is to seem like it's theirs, so it's always stolen. Like many people were accusing David Wilcock that he stole their material, right? And he just steals, and he pretends like it's from his sources or for whatever, right? Hi, Anna. Oh, you here? Hi, Bella. So, see, you will see this card, the betrayal card, being played, and it's you'll see that this is that structure, this is that timeline. But of course, now it has no power because we're in a revelation time. And so when I say, right, and so those fear factory workers, they're being reprogrammed right now. And as their programming gets interrupted, you'll see kind of like, there's interesting things happens, right? Interesting things happen, like, okay, like I say, when things go a little wrong, and infiltration, when infiltrators, when they succeed, once they take someone else's information as their own. Usually they don't just discredit those people. Those people may not have, they might have tell them the story on the phone. And these people just, forget about it and just shut them up and all of that. And some people, could have died for that information in some cases, but I'm not going to go into that. These are a different kind of investigations. Okay, Barefoot, you said it's not people through Lily. It's the multidimensional espionage satellite-based system of quantum computer utilizing MFFs, microwaves, radio broadcasts, and right. And all of that is being, Barefoot, you're absolutely right. All of that is being utilized for those purposes. And these people that I call the master slaves or slave masters that are out there pretending to be like David Icke and like all of those people, like out there that are saying that they're pro-human, but yet nothing. They don't talk about how that system operates, right? Because that would be, infiltrators just want to get you and keep you in that. And this is why I say they only want to keep you in fear, because that's all they need to do. Because if they let you be free, how would they, piggyback? And all of that is for a piggybacking of this predatory consciousness. And this is what it wants. It wants to piggyback on human being into a human reality. And it's basically vampire. And like I said, a lot of different forms of this consciousness, and a lot of different levels, and different sort of this infection. It spiritual, but it goes all the way into physical. And so then there is all these different forms of vampirism, and then all this sort of infiltrators that are there sort of putting a spell on humanity. And this is why you will see I've called out a lot of those people in the occult knowledge. Most of the people that claim to have occult knowledge, they're Satanists. And and if not, they're not themselves. Well, in a way they are, because in my world, if you too stupid enough, too ignorant to figure out that you're being used in those occult teachings, those people that pretend to know occult teachings, they're out there talking about, this symbols mean this, or that symbol means that, or, this or that, and all of this. And like I said the other day, the people that claim to know Egyptian mythologies, and they claim to teach you mystery schools and all of that stuff. All of that is a cover for satanic network. And they're willingly and knowingly projecting that program out there. So then it is in your subconscious mind, but ultimately they're creating a barrier between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind with those programs, to where you separate and you agree to this vampirism that they're overlaying you with. And so this is why I call those occultists out there out. And they think it's just that I'm mad at them because they, they try to they try to destroy my reputation. It's like, oh, you dum dums. It goes so beyond my reputation. My reputation is just like a leaf on a freaking tree. It's just doesn't mean a thing to me. Because this occultists out there, the dark occultists, and what they protect, and all of those people in truth movement, the talk of ascension, what they were talking about, what they were covering. So there is an infiltration in that. And so you watch now the black occultist, the Satanist, will start throwing betrayal cards and start pointing fingers at who's been doing dark stuff, who's been doing this, who's been doing that. So they're gonna start having issues, right? Because they're working on the same structure. So they're gonna start all of that. But at all time, while they and then all this new age healers and all of that stuff, like I said, um many of them especially, like I mentioned, Simon Parks, right? um that I mentioned, George Cavassalas. Then there's other ones like that. The talk of aliens and alien technology and all of that stuff. Those are the ones that are covering for all the genetic experimentations in underground facilities. And so their big lie is actually they talk of those experimentations, and on all those places there, yes, there's a different technology there and all of that stuff, but it's stolen technology. Okay. And so they're using that for their very, very horrific things that they do. And so all of those people that present you this, oh, aliens are coming, or aliens are here, or all of that stuff, it's all cover for those underground activities, to cover for the genetic experiments, then for stealing all the children. Okay. And then experiments on children, and then of course all the trafficking that happens, and then experiments, and then all this MK Ultra, those are all being experimented on, and all of that stuff. So all of those activities. And so, like you say, like I've called out Carrie Cassidy, right? What was she really protecting? What would they really protecting? So she brings on whistleblowers, said, oh, there is aliens under Getty. Oh, there is this, there is that. But they never told you. And this whole time, what was underground? Children. Children and horror. But all these years, she was bringing whistleblowers. And not one word. And what they were kept saying, everybody kept saying that, oh, it's aliens, or it's this, or like Laura Eisenhower, right? She's talking about going to Mars. And then those facilities are at Mars. When they were right beneath our feet. And then the children were abused in them. But Laura Eisenhower talked about ascending to Mars. Not the fact that we need to free children from being experimented on and presented by her grandfather as aliens sign an agreement. No, it was Nazis. Not aliens. So anyway, so see how they're covering, but then they'll infiltrate and they'll pretend like right now, right? Like David Wilcock was talking about decoding Q, and like he was, like he just become part of it. The chameleons, they're chameleons, right? So what happened, David Wilcock, to you blue avians? And why is your blue avians have remind us of satanic statues? Why is that? Coincidence? No, you guys. With infiltrators, there's no coincidences. It goes a lot deeper. So it goes a lot deeper. Much, much deeper. Okay? Literally. Literally. So watch this betrayal card being played. So watch for the new players, the ones that becoming the alphas right now out there, the infiltrators alphas, are the ones that have to take out the ones that failed. Okay, because they have to take out, because all this, they'll play this betrayal card on each other. They'll do this all day. Oh, what? How else do you do a drama queen? You just play betrayal all day long, right? And so, but ultimately, the act of betrayal is always a self-betrayal, because ultimately, that's karma. Karma will get you. So this is how the betrayal works, and this is how the karma thing in a way works. If you play betrayal card, meaning someone has to choose to do that, right? Someone has to choose to do that. Okay, for what purposes? Well, in let's take a current demonstrating people here like Wilcox and Jordan Sether, right? Wilcox has to be eliminated, exterminated, because he is a liability right now. He's bringing too much problems because his blue avians are failed. Everything failed that he presented, everything failed, and people are starting to question. So what has to happen? He has to be out, or he has to be repurposed, right? He's going to go do something else because now his program doesn't stick. But here comes his, from right behind his back, stabbing him in the back is the one that he thought everything he knows, right? So the one that he thought everything stabs him in the back, axes him out, and now what? Jordan's going to be a hero. For who? For those that started doubting Wilcox's stories. Those that start in doubt, they can't lose them, right? So they're going to give them someone better, someone younger, someone cuter. You know what I mean? So it just keeps going and going and going. But all it is because they've got a job to do. They got to protect all this secret activities, secret space programs, secret that, occult this, occult that, and all of that. And they'll be throwing and throwing at you these carrots. They'll be dingling all these carrots, right? And a lot of them are dry for intel. Dry. That well have dried up. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? That well have dried up. Okay, no more. Okay, three Stevens. Three sevens. Why am I saying Stevens? Three sevens. You said, I want to perpetually reincarnate their soul into a body of torture. Um, Actually, they like torture. Believe it or not, they like torture. Only way Wilcock can speak new interest by pretending to be part of Q. I know. I mean, oh my God, that guy he's pretended to be everybody. He's not part of Q. But when Q came, it took him, Danielle, it took him more than 12 months to catch on to Q. Yeah, he's part of Q. More than 12 months. I have the numbers somewhere. Okay, you guys, any questions? Because I think it's pretty much, but anyway, so I don't know, I was all over the place, but I think this is kind of, we're going to see this about, so I'm going to talk about more about, but so it's nothing to kind of, a lot of things will, let's say when the mask comes off, you see the truth behind some of these people, and it's not pretty because a lot of them are narcissists, and when the narcissists, well, they have to be. So when the narcissists are being found out, what happens is they become their worst self. Okay, and so they basically go in this denial thing, and there's nothing, and you become the enemy, and it's just in absolutely, and then this is why I say, please, please, please do not do this and face them, because these people are carrying this infection, the predatory consciousness, and they will stop at nothing to keep on with their agenda. They will stop at nothing. These are not the people that are like you and me. They are not. So I wanted to tell each and every one of you, this spiritual war is real, it's true, and it is extremely, extremely dangerous. So they will stop at nothing to regain control. They will stop at nothing. And then that's their game. Stop at nothing. No, they will not blink once to eliminate their own, as long as it suits or benefits the total agenda of covering for all these activities. They will do it, because to them it's a liability. They accept this themselves. So, and this is just the nature of this predatory consciousness. And so I wanted to talk about that because you will see a lot of that sort of acting up. You will see that consciousness acting up, and you will see how how vicious some of these people are, how evil and how completely destructive they are. And but for most part, there's a lot of players out there that are playing as drama queens right now, and they have to, because they need to keep, part of it is to keep their slaves entertained, and then to catch and give something supposedly new for those that are starting to wake up. They will not be happy if humanity is waking up to its own powers, because then that means the slave masters are losing their power. That's the way they look at it. They don't look at it any other way, you guys. They want to destroy everything. Everything, absolutely. You guys have no, I mean, it's so difficult for a human being that has compassion to understand this, Teresa. And you're absolutely right saying that they will destroy everything, and they will enjoy doing it. That's the thing. They don't do it out of anger. Even though they do it out of well, in a way they do. To them it's like opposite. It's joy. I don't want to call it joy, but because it's so sick, but that's what, to them, that's what they want. It's like, you guys, I want to tell you, it's like talking about infiltrators. So I was saying to you guys that my meditation hut was, messed with and all of that stuff. So I started to kind of, I went there and I wanted to rebuild it. So I put some stuff apart and put it to the side and started to kind of cleaning and redoing stuff. And then someone came in and just went shit crazy on it and just threw everything into the river. And so it's completely gone. So I'm like, okay, I guess there is no hut anymore. So thank you, Port Collie. You said, Lily, you deserve more thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thank you, you guys, for liking these videos. I do appreciate you liking, taking the time. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch my journals. I really, like I said in the beginning, I don't really know if it's going to be beneficial or valuable to share this, things. Just like I wasn't so sure how my doodles will be, would be accepted. But I am so grateful to each and every one of you that listens to these videos, and to all of you in live chat. I thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I really, really just want to say that you, all of you out there, I mean, it's like sharing my journey with you, and it's just been so amazing. And I thank you so much for being here with me on this journey. And we just moving forward. We are warriors. We know what we're doing here. And like I said, the beautiful reality is coming our way. We're just gonna see a lot of this drama unfolding. But stay strong, stay positive, and follow your joy, my wild wisdom warriors. I love you all so much. Until next time, you stay wild. Here's to you all. Love you.